What's up, everybody? Welcome to another edition of the Reality TV RHAPpy Hour. My name is Jordan Parhar, and as always on a Sunday night during the Big Brother OTT season, I'm here with you to discuss what is going down in the Big Brother house with the live feed correspondents. First on the panel for tonight is a man whose bio on RHAPiswebsite.com says that he was the child of renegade sewer mutants who swore vengeance on the surface world. It's Alex Kidwell. Alex, how are you?
I'm doing good, Jordan. Yeah, I actually uploaded that a while ago when I first got access to the page. That is a bio from my old blog that I started when I was in high school, which, like, you know, the more ridiculous, the better. I just tried to be like absolutely over the top with that, and it led me here. So what do you know?
Yeah, that bio is very OTT. I saw that it just showed up on the show page for this episode, and I saw that and I was like, oh, this is weird. Alex Kidwell's bio. Let me read this, and it said that, and I was like, what?
Yeah, it was it was before those commercials. I was trying to make myself the world's most interesting man, but obviously that didn't work out too well.
Hey, you tried. And you know what? The world's most interesting man, I think they replaced that guy. And you know who they haven't replaced? Alex Kidwell. So there you go. You got the last laugh, brother. All right. Next on the panel is a man who used to exclusively drink Propel, just like Sister Alex. It's Taran Armstrong, ladies and gentlemen. Taran, how are you?
I'm great. I no longer exclusively drink Propel. It was a dark time in my youth. I'm now strictly water, and just like water, I think that we should make this podcast heart-shaped and wonderful.
All right. Wow. That's who said that? Was that Chrissy in the house? What happened with the heart-shaped thing? Well, we'll get into that, I guess, in the questioning. I saw that on Twitter. I was very confused. Okay. And last but not least on the panel, certainly not least, is a man whose favorite player in the history of North American Big Brother just won sequester. It's Brent Wolgamott, ladies and gentlemen. Brent, how are you?
Yes, my girl Suzette. You better work, bitch. That's what I'm talking about.
And yes, for the uninitiated, Suzette from Big Brother Canada 1 was the winner of Sequester Season 5. So Audrey Middleton's online web show. So congrats to Suzette on the big win. So there you go,
yes,
Brent.
It's amazing, showing that if you don't actually have to live with people, then you may actually have a chance to win the game. Oh, sorry. Hi. Love you, Suzette. Shade.
oh man. Suzette, I love Suzette.
I love Suzette too.
Suzette's so nice.
Fine. She just won sequester. Who cares?
Suzette is a very nice lady. Okay, let's set things up for you guys. So we're live on RHAPiswebsite.com. We got the chat room going on RHAPiswebsite.com. If you want to check that chat room out, you can go to the show page or go to chatwing.com/RHAPpy Hour and chat with some other listeners of the show. And a public service announcement for you guys. This is the last RHAPpy Hour show until our live show in New York on Tuesday. There are still tickets available if you want to purchase those. You can go to RHAPiswebsite.com/BBOTT live. You can get your tickets there. It's at the Broadway Comedy Club. Show starts at 6:30. I believe the doors open at 6. So we're all going to be there. Some Big Brother people are going to be there. It's going to be a lot of fun. So if you're in the New York area, definitely come check it out. Tickets are only $10. Okay, guys, let's jump into what is going down in the house right now. Taran Armstrong, what is really happening in terms of the nominations? Where is Chrissy leaning with things?
She really has been up in the air for a while, and it's hard to pin down exactly what she's going to do because none of her allies really want to ask her what she's going to do after the meltdown she had a few nights ago. So it's not entirely clear. We are pretty sure that she's going to put up Scott and probably either Shelby or Whitney, and then potentially Morgan, but it's looking probably more like Shelby or Whitney at this point. But it does look like Scott is definitely going to go on the block.
Alex, what do you think the smarter move is for Chrissy, putting up in terms of, I guess she's targeting Scott, so Whitney or Shelby would be a pawn. So if just looking at it from an outsider's perspective, what should she do in terms of those two?
Well, what should she do is not target Scott because the 4 girls are so much closer than Scott. In fact, they can't really believe that she's doing that. Like, it's such a bad move for her that they're doubting whether or not it's legit, which I think speaks volumes. The fact that she's like being so upfront and honest, telling everyone the same thing, and they still don't believe she's going to do that because it quite honestly isn't in her best interest. The girls know they're tighter than, Scott is the end that can easily be snipped and keep the core strong. So that's her misstep, really, is not trying to just break up, the girls, which happens to include a pair of sisters, which she doesn't know, but if she did, I think she'd take that shot.
Brent, you were not on the Friday show, so we didn't get your perspective on what Chrissy is doing so far. What do you think about Chrissy's HOH to start this week?
I think it's pretty awful, and I don't say that because I generally dislike Chrissy, but she has been all over the place in terms of what she wants to do. She's managed to alienate not only the other side of the house by not making any of them feel safe, but also alienate her own allies by making them feel like they can't approach her with plans that they have. Now, was Neely being a little bit bossy with, the minute Chrissy walked in the room and Neely said, okay, boo-boo, I want to tell you what I'm going to do. This is what we should do, blah, 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 blah. Maybe, but Chrissy has to realize that, look, I got to be the bigger person here. I'm the one who won a HOH. Ultimately, it's my decision anyway. And she completely approached them in the wrong way. Actually, I won't even say she approached them. She just blew up at them in the wrong way. And it was, so far, if you look at Scott's HOH week and you look at Chrissy's HOH week, they can't be compared.
No, I mean, it's funny. It's the two opposite sides of the house, and one is doing completely opposite of the other. All hail the Virgin King. I still loving Scott. I don't know if you guys saw the recap on Friday, but him falling down on that balance thing. I don't know what even is that, Taran?
It's a slack line.
Oh, is that actually a slack line? But it's not that long. Like, and it's also
well, it's like a mini slack line, I guess.
And weren't they given that before the HOH to like weren't they under the impression that had something to do with HOH?
Well, it's been there, I think, from the start of the game. It's been there.
I haven't seen it before.
And practicing on it.
He likes to walk it, yeah.
And so he's hoping that it will someday be in a competition because he's gotten much better at it.
Cool.
Yeah. Well, he looked like he was doing good until he fell flat on his face.
I want to say really quickly, just to make a quick point, since we're talking about Scott, he has done himself a bit of a disservice this week, though. I really do feel like, and it's important that we talk about it because his loyalty to Alex is mind-bogglingly unwavering. To the point where it's endangering his game, because the other side, the misfits, believe that, especially Jason and Justin, believe that we don't really want to get rid of Scott. In fact, Justin really doesn't want to get rid of Scott. But the one pro to getting rid of Scott is that if we get rid of Scott, then Alex will be willing to work with us. Okay, they're certain of that because right now they're just entirely too tight, and Scott's making it look like they are so tight. And the thing is, it's such a one-sided relationship because Scott is really, really loyal to Alex. And the other thing about Scott is he totally tells the truth. Like he told Chrissy, look, honey, I know you won HOH this week. You're all mad at me, but just know that I'm not coming for you. You're not a target of mine. I don't see you as athletic. I don't think you're going to win anything. And he was totally telling her the truth. But of course, Chrissy doesn't buy any of that. Like he couldn't possibly be telling the truth. He must be coming after me. So for all the a variety of reasons, his inability to lie, I would say it's his inability to lie, his need to be completely honest all the time, and his unwavering loyalty to Alex is endangering his game more than anything this week.
Yeah, why do you think he is so loyal to Alex, Taran? Like, what is there any, like, do you think there's something to do with the super fan going into the house and really wanting that dominant two-person alliance? Do you think that has to do with it?
It's really kind of difficult to tell. A lot of people are just saying, oh, he's in love with her, stuff like that. Like, oh, it's a pretty girl that's giving him attention. I'm sure that's part of it. But I think it also stemmed from the fact that when Alex was HOH week 2, he recognized that it was his mistake that ended up screwing her over with America. Like, if he hadn't voted out Cornbread, they would have had the numbers to overcome America's influence, and she wouldn't have been nearly as screwed as she was. And he felt very guilty about that, and he feels like he needs to make it up somehow. However, he has said that he thinks that she's somebody he couldn't beat in the end, whereas Shelby is somebody that he could beat in the end. So I think he's definitely loyal to a fault right now. If he made it to the end, I think he's still probably willing to cut Alex to win the game.
You mean the ends, the final two? Is that what we're talking about?
Oh. Yeah, in the final 4 where he's not able to take her out actually because it's not as cool.
All right. Let's talk about America's nominee, guys. Alex Kidwell. Has Chrissy been preparing for America's nominee? And if so, who does she think it's going to be?
No, I mean, not really. She just like, I'm sure she assumes it's going to be someone from the other side, and that's as far as she's thought it through. But of course, like the way, we have to assume that the way she's handled everything so far psychologically is that she's kind of like rationalized it after the fact. So if it is in fact Neely that goes up there, her and Neely did just have a fight the other day. So it'll be very easy for her to do that spin in her head and just say like, oh man, Neely, I really wish you hadn't, come at me and fought with me like that, because that really created such an unfortunate situation for us here.
Yeah, and she does think that Scott is probably the most likely person to get nominated by America.
Yeah.
So in preparation for that, she wants to nominate Scott first.
Of course.
Which is brilliant. Actually, I mean, not just kidding. Like, that's terrible. Like, they're convinced that Scott's going to be nominated by America. Why in the world would you want to take that away from us? Number one, it denies us the opportunity to nominate Scott. And by the way, Scott wouldn't be nominated anyway, I don't believe. But if you believe that, go ahead with that. And number two, if you take Scott and put him on the block, then who knows who the hell ends up in America's spot?
Exactly. Yeah. I mean, the thinking is, Brent, you're right. I mean, I don't think they are correct in thinking that Scott is going to go on the block by America, but the logic is flawed. It's flawed. Like, why would you do that, Chrissy? It just doesn't make, if you think he's going up anyway, then don't put him up. And then, that, because otherwise, yeah, like you said, we could see Neely go up. And Brent, what do you think about that? Who do you think America is going to put up? Because you put this plan into motion on Wednesday night.
Yes.
We put Neely on the block. Do you think that's going to come true?
I do. I realize I have an immense amount of power, to the point where people, like the cat ladies on Jokers, like, I don't mean me necessarily. I mean like us, like collectively. Like,
okay, good. Because I had someone tweet me and ask you why you have so much HOH-itis, Brent.
Well, I mean, I don't. And
I am a god among men.
I don't know this for a fact, but I just know a lot of people have been pissed at like saying, RHAP is controlling everything, and RHAP is doing this, and RHAP is doing that. It's a minority of people. Let me just say, a minority of people. So I'm not paying any attention to them, but I do believe that this plan. I don't know, Taran, I saw you also tweeted out the whole Neely be nominated as America's nominee thing. Did you do that after you saw me say it, or did we simultaneously come up with the same thing at the same time?
I think it was while you were podcasting, because people were like, "Why aren't you on the podcast?"
Okay, cool. Yeah, I know, right? Yeah, I know, right? There's only so much room, people. Anyway, so I was working out in my head. Okay, what can we do to save Alex and Scott here? Because that's been, for people that, just so that you guys understand, I do not have anything against Neely, although I don't think she's bringing anything necessarily to the show or to the feeds as a whole. I'm trying to save Alex and Scott. Everybody else can go the way of the dinosaur. I really don't care. But the fact that Chrissy so adamantly wants to target Scott this week, now that Alex is safe, leads me to believe that Neely is going to be nominated by America. And they got a warning shot about that because the have-nots were announced earlier this week, and Neely and Jason and Scott were nominated as have-nots by America. So I think that they were definitely, I know Jason was surprised to be nominated by America, and he's saying to the Houseguest he didn't want to be, or that he didn't mind being a have-not, but he definitely minded being a have-not. And Neely, I know, was definitely surprised too.
Now, speaking of that, Brent, we've got a question from a friend of the show, Edward Morris, and you can get your questions in for the RHAPpy Hour by tweeting me. I'm at Jordan Parhar. Use hashtag RHAPpy Hour, and we will be getting into those throughout the show. Edmo asks, how is Jason interpreting America putting him on slop? Taran, where's Jason's head at? Is he starting to think, oh, maybe I'm working with the wrong people? Is he looking into this, or is he kind of just continuing to do his own thing?
He's definitely examining it, and he's definitely not happy about it. You can tell that it's kind of getting to him. He's good at this game in the sense that like he understands like what he needs to do to alter perception. So he hasn't like really lashed out, but you can see moments where he's just, the frustration is getting to him, especially the fact that he was put in that position. And I think especially the fact that his main ally, Justin, was not, which tells him he can't go to the end with Justin probably. So it really puts a big wrench in a lot of his plans. He has been thinking like, is this because I was trying to work with the other side? Am I playing both sides? Is that what's wrong with me? But Justin was doing that too. I don't understand. He's trying to figure it out, but it's very difficult, I imagine.
Okay, so interesting. Yeah, that's tough for Jason. I mean, you have no idea what's going on, and he probably thinks, going into this week, probably thought, okay, I've got all America supporting me, and seeing that happen, he's probably thinking, this ain't so good. So,
well, come on, look, let's talk about this. Is a good point to talk about this then. So look at that. Okay, the way Jason is acting,
Yes.
trying to figure out what's going on. Lamenting the fact that he's a have-not, and what could that mean for his long-term game. Combine that with Shelby, who blew me away in the diary room when she said that she wouldn't mind being a have-not again when talking, privately to America, because she thinks it makes her look weaker, and that she thinks that it's more likely that the other house guests will want to take her to the end. I haven't heard maybe 3 strategic words come out of this girl's mouth the entire time. And when she said that in the diary room, I was blown away, and I shouldn't be. Because you think that should seem obvious to everybody that that's what you want to do. Contrast that with Justin running around like a crazy man every time that have-nots are announced, and he's not one of them. Just bringing more attention to the fact that he's liked by America. Shelby, on the other hand, wants to be a little disliked by America, and she doesn't mind being a have-not. I was really cool with that.
Yeah, my estimation of Shelby's game has just been on the rise exponentially, because she has done such a great job of looking dumb. And she comes into the diary room and she says, like, guys, I know I said this word wrong. I misused it. I'm sorry. I did it on purpose. I'm not that stupid. I just have to convince these people that I am. And the thing about it is, usually you have to be wary of this kind of strategy, because if people think you're that dumb, they're not going to give you the money in the end. But the people that she's playing with aren't going to give her the money in the end. We're going to give her the money in the end. So she can degrade her image all she wants to the other house guests, as long as America knows what's happening and she's able to explain it, because she has these live diary rooms. I'm starting to think maybe this is a winning strategy for this kind of game.
She stumbled ass backwards into it, but she seems to have found.
So Alice Kidwell, then what's your take on this? Do you think Shelby is actually a smart player?
It's relative, and for this kind of a season, like she's still her own worst enemy. Like she's still her biggest problem in the house is her own inability to get out of her own way, to not roll her eyes at people, to not say little things that are misinterpreted or interpreted correctly and held against her later. But she is perceptive. She's much more perceptive than people are willing to give her credit for, and she recognizes her role in the house as kind of a pariah, which is, there's value in knowing where you stand. A lot of people aren't so lucky right now.
Brent, you wanted to talk about Justin a little bit. What about Justin did you want to touch upon?
Just the fact that he is starting to think more long-term strategically. He really wants to go. Well, there are elements to his game right now that want to go against Chrissy and save Scott this week for a variety of reasons. Number one, he thinks Scott is more loyal to him. He thinks he would target Neely and Chrissy. That's cool. Number two, he's a boy, and they're drastically short on boys. If Scott goes out, that'll be 4 boys in a row. And remember, coming into this season, they were already down 7-6 in terms of girls to boys. So if Scott goes out, then it'll just be Justin and Jason for the rest of the season. Justin has to recognize that he is a athletic, good-looking, charismatic guy. If he is by himself, they're going to come for him and come for him fast. So I actually don't really mind him trying to save Scott here. The great thing is that America is going to do his dirty work for him, I think. I do believe that America is going to nominate Neely, and if Neely's on the block on eviction night, I do believe that America will vote out Neely and save Scott, which will help out Justin. So if all those people out there that are mad at me that I'm anti-misfit and blah, 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 I'm not anti-misfit so much as I'm anti-boring feeds. And I also want to help out Justin, and Justin wants to keep Scott. So it's another reason to keep Scott in the house and vote out Neely.
And
Taran,
we can't forget the biggest reason. The biggest reason Justin wants to turn on Neely, which is the witch hat that we mentioned on Friday, because she's super untrustworthy in that hat. He can't trust her at all.
Well, why does she keep it on? Why does she want to keep wearing it all the time?
I was watching the recap on Friday, and she had it on, and I thought I was watching Hocus Pocus again. Like she literally like she could be in that movie. She suits the role. I mean I don't know. Like she looks like she belongs in the hat. I'm just saying. So if I'm Justin and I believe in voodoo and I'm scared of all this stuff,
yes,
yeah,
you should take into account where Justin is from. You know, there's a lot of mysticism in New Orleans culture, and you know, voodoo and witches and stuff like that. It's real to some people, and it's like real enough to be superstition that you just don't want to mess with the others. So why would you even like play around like that? Take that off. Stop it.
So Taran, just to clarify, does Justin actually believe that Neely is a witch, or he's just freaked out by the hat?
I mean, he's been pretty adamant about it. Like, he's like, seriously though, guys, I'm not joking. It really creeps me out. She needs to get rid of it. So
to the point where he's looking for the hat. Like, he's like, where's the hat? Yeah.
And I can confirm my polling currently indicates that Neely is ahead in the data for the potential nominee. She has 55% of the vote. Scott and Morgan are currently splitting the rest of the vote with 22 and 19%. I can assume that whoever is not on the block will eat up most of the other person's percentage, which would make it relatively close, but Neely would still be out ahead. And so far, my polling has been correct every time. So it looks like Neely is potentially going to be going up on the block in one day.
Yes, there you go.
We know
couple of
in
one
the
day.
immediate future. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so hypothetically, then we're looking at Neely on the block from America. We are looking at Scott on the block from Chrissy, and let's just say Shelby is on the block as well from Chrissy. Because Alex, you mentioned that I don't know if this was in the pre-show or earlier on the recording that that Chrissy went to Shelby and was like asking her to be a pawn or something like that.
Well, yeah, I mean, we were talking about a little bit on the pre-show that it looks pretty clear right now Scott's going on the block with either Shelby or Whitney. Yesterday, Chrissy had a conversation with Whitney where she kind of hinted that Whitney might be used as a pawn. Today, which, you know, recency is always something to look at. You know, what people say most recently sometimes is more important than what they said a couple days ago because mindsets change. So she had a conversation with Shelby, you know, today within the last few hours that was hinting even more strongly at the idea of using her as a pawn. So because of that, it looks like it's leaning Scott and Shelby. It could easily be Scott and Whitney though.
And
okay.
I will say Morgan has also done a amicable job of making sure that she is not going to be nominated this week or targeted this week. Chrissy was saying that I can't remember exactly how she worded it to Neely, but basically, you know, we need to take Morgan at her word, and you know, she's fine this week. I don't know if she's exactly telling the truth or not, but you know, that's okay. So she's done a good enough job to keep herself safe. And by the way, I think I used that word wrong. I don't think amicable was the right word. I think it's adequate. Anyway, never mind.
Really good point about Morgan though, because what happened is in the aftermath of kind of Chrissy and Neely fighting, Morgan, you know, was there to talk to Neely and kind of like somebody needs to be there for you when you just have a blow up with your friend to kind of like help you get in the right headspace again and like just let you talk things through. And Morgan was that person for Neely. So now Morgan and Neely's bond is closer as a direct result of you know, Chrissy and Neely's argument. So because of that, Morgan and Neely are now close to the point where Neely is willing to advocate for Morgan. And you do have a couple other people saying like, maybe we should be targeting Morgan. Like, I think Jason is more inclined to want to target Morgan because he's worried about her relationship with Neely. But Chrissy is willing to listen to Neely and keep Morgan safe because it seems to be what Neely wants. And also, I think, you know, Morgan's done a better job than Shelby, certainly, and some of these other girls on on this.
And meanwhile, we have Alex on the other end, basically, like convincing people like Shelby and Whitney, like, hey, you know, it wouldn't be the worst idea to be on the block. It wouldn't be the worst idea to be a pawn, to the point where Shelby is basically volunteering to Chrissy, like, yeah, you can throw me up as a pawn. That's fine. Like after she has a conversation with Alex about it. And Alex has also been talking with people like Scott and the rest of the girls like Shelby to make sure that if Morgan does go on the block, then at least their votes will not go toward Morgan. I know Scott was initially wanting to target Morgan. He called her basic, which she wasn't happy about.
A little basic. Well, relative to some of these people, you know, there's such big personalities in there.
she was like, yeah, I'm not, she said to the cameras, I think, I'm not basic. Well, okay, maybe I'm not basic.
It's a tough thing to confront, right? Like the idea you might be basic, but then you look to your left and you see Justin, and you look to your right and you see Jason, and you're like, maybe I'm basic.
Oh man, hey, being basic's not so bad, right, Taran?
No, I think being basic is perfectly fine. I think being basic is like being perfect, basically.
Basically.
Okay. Well, I don't know.
There was no comma in that sentence. Taran wasn't saying it's like being perfect. Basically, it's like being perfect.
Yes,
on a basic level, it's being perfect.
Perfect, basically. Okay. All right. All right. So thinking about what's stuff moving forward, guys, we got I'm just looking at the questions here. Let's take this one from George Barrett. George says, and I'll throw this to you, Alex Kidwell. George says, why is Sister Alex selling her allies down the river before nominations are in place? That's a bad move, in my opinion. Now, what do you think about that?
Well, because she's trying to, she knows she's going to lose the war, right? The enemy, so to speak, has HOH. So what you want to do is just not lose the war. Sorry, lose the battle. This week is the battle that you're going to lose one way or another. The question is just how bad are the casualties going to be, right? Do you want to lose Scott, who you feel like you have like a strong group that's not going to break up if you lose Scott? Scott's also someone you're maybe a little worried about. He's been getting very close to Jason and Justin lately. So Alex is a little worried like he might, flip on her at some point. Contrast that with your sister. Like you want to protect your sister because you know that your sister is someone you can work with and trust in this game. So far, it hasn't burned you at all. So yeah, I mean, she's just trying to get the best possible outcome, steer the thing in a direction because she's in a position to be able to kind of do it. She's safe. So she has like kind of that immunity in Survivor situation where you can be a little freer to talk.
But she doesn't have the votes, though. So this is what I don't understand. Like she's talking to Shelby saying, well, if Whitney gets to the end of the game, Whitney will probably win, obviously in a transparent attempt to try to save Morgan, although Shelby's completely unaware of that. And Shelby's like, I agree, maybe we might have to vote out Whitney. I'm like, girls, you don't get a choice. I'm like, the other side has HOH. They have the votes, and America's going to decide. If we nominate Neely, then obviously America's going to decide. If we nominate somebody from the Ball Crusher side, then the Misfits, the Jamboree side of the house, totally has the vote. So I don't know that it's necessarily a good idea for Alex to be throwing some of her allies under the bus when she's not going to be able to control the outcome this week anyway. I mean, she can shape what Shelby thinks. Maybe she can shape what a few other people think. But ultimately, they're going to do what their side wants. Does that make any sense to anybody but me? I don't understand why she's
yeah. Right,
but
I think what you're saying. Yeah, absolutely.
I think what you might be missing is that if Neely or one of the Misfits wins the veto and Neely comes off the block, and it has to be between one of the two, then there could be some sway where it's like the votes could go a certain way and they could get favor with people like Justin or people like Chrissy who want to get favor with people like Shelby or whoever. Yeah. Who that can be like, yeah, well, maybe we'll do what they want and we'll take out this person, or maybe America will be on their side. And if the Ball Smashers all vote one way, then America can help them out by throwing a vote a certain way. Like it could still go many different ways, and it also just helps Alex in general if they see Morgan as somebody that's not expendable, as somebody that they want to take further down in the game long term.
But I think that's a little aggressive, Taran. I mean, why not just wait? Why not just wait until at least the third nominee, until the nominees go up, or the third nominee, or maybe after the veto? But already, I mean, there's time after the veto, right, Brent?
Well, this is where I'll kind of side with Taran a little bit. In this season, it goes so fast after the veto ceremony because, nominations are tomorrow night, the nominations are tonight. Tonight's Sunday. America's nominee is nominated tomorrow. Then the veto competition happens. Then the veto ceremony happens on Tuesday, and we vote them out on Wednesday. So it does move really fast. But, a day is a lifetime in the Big Brother house. I still think Alex would have plenty of time to get the outcome that she wants, or she can plant little seeds without overtly going against people in her own alliance. I just worry that this kind of talk will eventually come back to bite her in the ass later on. On the other hand, where do those people have to go? You know, if Whitney hears that Alex said, oh, maybe she's too likable to get to the end, where the hell is she going to go? She's not going to go anywhere but the Ball Crashers. So there you go.
Yeah, and I think that it has been successful. I think that, you know, so far it's been working. People are not wanting to take Morgan out, and a large part of why Morgan isn't as in the conversation for Chrissy as somebody like Whitney is because those allies are coming up. The people that Chrissy does want to connect with are coming up and giving her reasons to not put up Morgan. I
thought it was more Neely, but with the whole fight thing. But whatever.
I mean, there's a variety of reasons, and that's one of them. And I do agree that, you know, I'm generally against being too aggressive. I don't know if I've seen Alex be too aggressive this week. We'll probably find out probably by next week if she's been too aggressive. But I think at the moment she hasn't crossed that line.
Let's talk about the vote a little bit. Alex Kidwell, let's say hypothetically the veto is won by somebody who doesn't decide to use it. Chrissy is HOH, Neely's on the block, Scott's on the block, Shelby/Whitney is on the block. Who's going to go home?
Probably Neely in that spot. I mean, it really is going to come down to,
Justin, right? I mean, because in terms of who would vote, it would be Shelby or Whitney, whomever doesn't go on the block. Justin, Jason, Danielle, Morgan, and Alex. So
well, it's 3-3, no matter what. I mean, it's three misfits. If Neely remains on the block, no matter what formulation of Ball Crushers is on the block, it's going to be 3 votes on the Ball Crusher side and 3 votes on the Jamboree side. America has the deciding vote, and I think America will vote out Neely in that spot, and I think the House will be shocked.
Man, Taran, Brent, I keep forgetting about the America's votes, so thank you for reminding me. I'm like writing all these people, and I'm like, who has a vote? This person's vote.
Right?
Yes, of course. Stupid America. Taran, you're in agreement on that?
Yeah, I mean, as long as, like I said, like the polling currently indicates that Neely will be put up on the block. It doesn't seem likely that will change, like the sentiment toward her or toward that alliance will change by the time the voting is cast. So if she does go up on the block and the veto is not used on her, I do expect her to go home.
If all you're doing to try to, you know, sell yourself as someone to keep in the game is putting on a witch's hat, then I understand why people like. I get, you know, people are saying like, why are people nominating Neely? She's nice. It's like, well, we're getting to the point now where there's no one offensive left. Now we look around and it's like, well, there are people doing things and people not doing things. And so that's like the next level of like, you have to kind of keep improving. First you had to not be offensive. Now that that's gone, now you have to be actively doing something. And unfortunately, there's not a lot that Neely's actively doing that's either strategic or actively entertaining.
By the way, I will really quickly say that besides Alex, I think everybody currently left in the game would use the veto on somebody. So that's important to keep in mind. I mean, you know, if anybody on the Jamboree side wins the veto, they're obviously going to pull Neely down and no one can go up in her place. If anybody on the Ball Crusher side wins the veto, they're obviously going to use it. The only person who would not use it, I believe, is Alex, because then Morgan might potentially go up on the block as a nominee.
Yeah, I guess that's interesting to think about. So you think Shelby or Whitney, whichever one wins, would use it on the other person if they won, or you just don't think they'll win?
No. I mean, what do you mean? If Shelby's on the block, she's going to use it.
No. I'm talking about So I'm saying hypothetically, Shelby's on the block, Whitney's off the block. Whitney wins Whitney
that may be.
veto.
What Taran may have persuaded me that she may not, based on this work that Alex has done. I mean, if Whitney's on the block, Morgan's off the block, and like let's say Shelby wins the Shelby wins the veto, I think she probably would not. Because then Morgan is the only option to go up. Ironically, I think that would help their side though, because if Scott and Morgan are on the block, I think America, the people who are
more likely to vote
plastics, they're going to split their vote between Morgan and Scott, and it would really consolidate Neely going home. If it's just Scott on the block or just Morgan on the block, then I do worry that it's going to, because Neely was winning, 55% of the vote in Taran's poll. I've seen other polls where Neely's like 51, 52, 49 on Jokers. So it's dicey. It'll be dicey.
Okay, so we'll keep an eye on that. We'll see how the veto ceremony goes. We'll see how things go with America's nomination. We will have an update on everything for you guys Tuesday night when we are live in New York. So that should be a lot of fun. It could be a very crazy show, guys. I don't know how many people are going to be on this panel, but I know I'm excited. I think it'll be fun.
I know we will be.
Yes, we will.
Who knows
where
the conversation will go? It started with OTT, but
could start.
Lord knows where the night will take us.
Yeah, chicken parm and dog grooming and various other things could be discussed. It shall be a great time. Okay, speaking of that, we have a question here from Joey Jojo. Joey Jojo says, excited to meet you guys on Tuesday. What's your drink of choice so I know what to buy you? Taran, I'm going to guess it's something basic.
Yeah, I mean, I already told everyone it's water. I mean, give me some water and I'm good. No, I already told people to bring me pizza and sing.
Pizza and sing. The pizza song. That's what you want, right?
Pizza, yeah. Sing the pizza song.
Yes. Okay. So just so everybody knows, Taran drinks water because you don't drink. You choose not to. Correct.
Correct.
Okay.
Yep.
Brent is a recovering addict of 12 years, and I don't drink, so I drink Coke. So there's that. So if you want to buy shots, hand them over to Alex and Jordan, and they'll have a great old time.
I need to start getting ready for this trip. Start mentally preparing myself for the bevy of shots that may be coming my way here.
Alex, preference in terms of shots that you would like, or a beverage.
Let's avoid straight tequila this time. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think that's a good idea.
See, now that you said that, people are gonna give you tequila.
No.
So
that's the only
you're
one
wasting
you
your
named.
money. No,
Yeah.
don't do that. Don't do that. No tequila. Anything else, I'm cool.
if you guys do that, I will pressure Alex into doing it. So don't worry.
Stop it! I'm canceling my trip now, Jordan.
Oh man. And
Just
for
asking for more of that show.
and for real, don't do that. Don't be mean. Don't be mean. You can buy me tequila if you want, or I'm a big fan of the just a really basic as well. Corona.
I have a question. I do have a question for Taran and Alex.
Go.
Why is Danny anti-Jason? Well, I've heard her in the diary room saying that she doesn't really trust Jason, but there wasn't a lot of the why. And then Chrissy related to Jason that Danny doesn't necessarily trust him as well. But again, the why was kind of missing. So why does Danny not trust Jason? Can one of you answer this for me?
Because he's talking to people that she's not willing to talk to. Like he's willing to play a social game, and right. So that makes him like someone who's playing both sides, right? But yeah, it's from Danielle's perspective. Danielle's the person who says time and time again, I refuse to talk to them. Like those girls have it in for me no matter what. She's set like that. Her mind is made up and there's no changing it. And so yeah, of course that's going to be the situation because you isolate yourself completely from those people. But yeah, like even her own allies are starting to get tired of some of her stories.
Right. I heard Jason earlier saying that because Danielle was complaining that Alex doesn't talk about her personal life on the feed. She doesn't want everything broadcast to America. And Danny was like, what kind of a bitch is she? Why is she doing that? She won't tell us anything about herself. And Jason was defending her, saying, look, there have been plenty of people who have been on the show who maybe said a little too much on the feeds and it got broadcast to America and their family had to pay for it. So she's probably watching out for that. But Danny was like, Danny could not be denied at this point. She was like certain that she was right, that Alex was in the wrong, and she doesn't understand why Jason's defending her. So
Danny has already exposed so much about herself in various ways. So it would really be a shame for her to come down from that position.
Yeah, right. I mean, you got to think she's going to have that perspective. Like, I don't understand why she won't share a little knowledge. I shared I mean, you guys saw like open thrusting.
Oh my gosh! Yeah,
right.
the pelvis kiss, Alex.
Right. The other thing about Danny's diary room was that you could tell how really taken aback she was by being nominated by America. Like she was like trying to like prove herself to us. Like hope you guys really like me. I don't understand why you guys didn't like me. I'm a really good person. The other side is like terrible, and I'm going to try and work hard for you guys. And the other thing that occurred to me, when Julie announced this, and I apologize, I'm sort of tangential, going all over the place. When Julie announced this final 3 instead of a final 2, I really do think it hurts people like Danielle, people who are basically utterly unlikable, who could never win a vote for the most part, but who might have a chance of winning a vote in an A versus B scenario. You know, you cannot concoct a scenario where I think Danielle can win now. If it was a final two, I could get her there. Okay, I could get her to 51%. But in a final three, I mean, unless the other two people are exactly splitting the vote, I really do not think there's any chance that somebody like Danielle can win. And she kind of seems to know that at this point. She said, you know, I don't know if America likes me, but if I'm so unliked that I can't win at the end, then I really want to take two people that I really like to the end. So that basically seems like Chrissy and Neely. So that's another reason to get Neely out of the house.
Now that you mentioned that, I think that's probably where Scott is now coming from, because like I think that Scott felt like, okay, all I need to do is get to the end with Shelby because I feel like Shelby, maybe I can beat Shelby. But then when the final three was announced, he was just like, what am I supposed to do here? So at this point, he maybe that's why he feels like he needs to be playing his game for somebody else, because he just basically has no shot other way.
All hail the Virgin King.
And that's not true, though. I think Scott could win. And I wish
agree.
that, and I hate the fact that he thinks that he can't. I'm hoping that after Neely is nominated, and we could have nominated Scott and did not, and this is after the week where we gave him the care package, I'm hoping that lifts his spirits even more, and he realizes, look, dude, we don't hate you that much, all right? Like, you're cool.
Well, I do think his road is getting, exceedingly tougher. Like, I think he correctly assessed in his live DR last night that, me and Chrissy are, even though, like, it was funny because he said my strategy was to just, like, tell everyone Chrissy's my only target. And obviously that backfired. I didn't think she was ever going to win anything, and she wins something. So that sucks. And he's right. But, yeah, I mean, it's interesting because he says me and Chrissy are kind of in the same position in that we both need to be very careful with who goes home every week going forward, because it's very situational whether or not we can win if we're with the right people. We're not like some of the most likable people in the house, but I'm trying to figure out how to get myself there. And I feel like the problem is that Chrissy's only willing to think about getting herself there to the end with two people she likes that she's like happy to lose to. And sure enough, then in Chrissy's DR, she confirms everything that Scott had said, saying that I'm basically looking at going to the final three with people that I'm close to, and then I'd be happy losing with, which is frustrating to hear because that mentality is going to dictate some outcomes going forward if enough people in the house share it.
And that's why she's a mastermind, Alex. She laid it all out for us. Taran, what's the biggest takeaway from you from the live DRs from last night?
I don't know. I think the Shelby thing was a big one for me. No, I mean, it's really been, I don't know if it's because of the frequency of the live DRs or if it's just the nature of this game, but I feel like we've been getting less and less new information in the DRs as time goes on. I think probably just because there's less and less going on strategically. I mean, it's just two sides, firing shots.
Right.
And like maybe we can work with these people. Oh, but nope, there's two people from both sides on the block, so it's going to be divided again. You know what I mean? Like there's not a lot of movement going on.
All right. Let's get into more of your question, guys. This one is from Wambulance NYC. Wambulance says, when Chrissy is involved, I can only watch 2 minutes of feeds at a time. How are all of y'all doing? I'm concerned for your sanity. Brent, how are you doing?
Well, you can always switch cams. Like that's why there's 4 cams. If Chrissy's on cam 3, I just go over to cam 1, and there's Justin singing about the pizza. So I don't really need to worry about that. I mean, Chrissy doesn't bug me as much as everybody else. I don't know why.
Because you switch cams.
Right. Well, not just that. Like I just know that her fall is coming. She can't be HOH next week. So she's going to be a have-not next week, and she's going to be nominated by America next week unless somebody on the other side puts her up automatically, which I really hope they don't because I want the privilege of doing it. So, I mean, she's up at the mountain right now, and she's going to fall really fast. So I'm cool with that, And as far as listening to her, I mean, I've listened to this kind of stuff for 3, 4, 5 seasons now, covering Big Brother Proper and Big Brother Canada. There's always a couple people in the house that think they know everything, that are really haughty and self-righteous, and there you go. They think they'll never be evicted, and then act surprised when they walk out with this goddamn sandwich in their hand or something.
Exactly.
Love you.
I love you too. I love you, Brent. I always will. Okay.
You were never self-righteous, though. I don't think.
No, I don't. I don't know.
Cool.
Depends on who you ask.
Yeah.
Okay. I didn't win HOH though, so maybe that would have changed. Okay. This next question is from Matt Forsyth. Matt says, what's the best game plan when the house is split? Should you float, coast, or pick a side and ride it out? Taran?
Well, it's different in this game. I think what you need to do is be one of the more popular people on your side. That'll generally get you protected. But you also don't want to be in Justin's position where you're so popular that you're the only person on your side that doesn't become a have-not, because that puts a huge target on your back.
Yeah.
There's just,
Can I say something really quickly? I didn't mean to interrupt
Yeah,
you
go
there,
ahead.
but we have to make Justin a have-not next week. We have to. If you love Justin and you want him to go to the end of the game, and there may be some people that don't, okay? But if you love him, we need to make him a have-not here, because he makes such a big deal of the fact that he's not a have-not, bringing more attention. And I hear the house guests talking, like I heard the girls talking tonight, like they can't believe that America doesn't nominate him after he whipped his out. Of course, he didn't do that, and they admitted that. Like, after, it wasn't quite the way they told the story. But nevertheless, they think he's, they don't understand why he doesn't get nominated by America. I think they've all figured out that he's really well liked by America. So if you like Justin and you want to put some doubt in the other house guest's mind about just how popular he is, you need to make him a have-not next week.
How did he celebrate this week?
He just ran it. He just runs around like a crazy person. Like the minute they announced that the 3 have-nots, he jumps up out of the couch, like runs to the bedroom. Yeah, exactly. Runs all the way back, and it's just like, and he starts twerking in front of everybody. Like, I mean, come on. Like, honey, it's a popularity contest at the end of the day. I'm trying to look at the alternate universe where he's totally not like that and see if that makes a difference. I think it marginally does, but I don't know. I just think he's doing himself a disservice.
I don't know. I think that's him being him, and I think that's what's working for him. So you can't. If you start to dial it back, you run the risk of losing what made people like you in the first place, right?
Yeah,
so it's tough.
I know we have to make him a have-not next week. Him and Whitney, I feel like, have never been have-nots. They must be have-nots. Everybody needs to take a damn turn, people. That's what I'm talking about. If y'all want to make Alex the third have-not, fine.
Okay, back to Taran answering the question. Taran,
sorry.
So what?
Apologize, Taran.
So what would you suggest then? Yeah, Matt was asking, do you pick a side, do you coast, or do you just kind of float between both sides?
Well, you have to pick a side. However, that doesn't mean you can't have ties with the other side. I think the ideal situation is to be positioned. In this game, I think Shelby is probably in the best position of the ball smashers at the moment. I think that she's seen as a worthless competitor, a worthless social player, and just worthless person to get out in the first place. And she doesn't even have any other ties. She doesn't need any ties, because you don't need ties to win this game. You just need to make it to the end and win the vote. So her biggest issue is going to be getting to the end with the right people that aren't going to be too popular. But I don't think she'll have a problem with that, because when you get to the end, you have to start taking out all the other the popular people. And in order to do that, you're probably going to take hits to your own popularity, because it's like, oh, if Alex goes at Justin at Final 5, then Alex is going to get hate from the Justin fans, but Justin is going to be gone. And then if Shelby makes it to Final 3 with Alex and people hate Alex because she got rid of Justin, then Shelby wins the game. So it might be Shelby's move. Just be hated by everyone except for America.
I don't know. I'm dubious of that. I really do think that if Alex, Justin, or Jason gets to the end of the game, I feel like they're the winner, no matter who they're sitting against. I really don't, and I mean, I'm not willing to put my name on that, but I do believe that that's where we're headed.
All right,
yeah, you never know who wakes up tomorrow and mutters something anti-Semitic, and then all of a sudden, the tables how they turn in this game.
Oh yes. Let's hope no one pulls a cornbread here moving forward. Okay, Alex Kidwell, I'll throw this question to you. This is from Kim B. Kim says, please explain why people think Sister Alex is such a good player. I just don't see it. Specific examples would help. Thank you.
I feel like we've done this a lot on the podcast. Yeah,
didn't we do this last
every
time?
Week? And people individually ask me on Twitter, and I'm like, can you just rewatch the podcast? I feel kind of tired of this, but I mean, I don't think we've said she's a great player, have we? I think people have misinterpreted some things. We've said that she's trying and other people aren't trying. By default, that makes her basically the best player in the house. It doesn't make her great, but some of these people are so bad. Please acknowledge how awful some of these people are.
Yeah, she's the player where if you look at the traditional game, if you take what she has done and remove America's influence, what she was doing was very, very good, and she wouldn't have gotten screwed over without America's influence, like 2 weeks in a row, basically. And then despite that, her moves that people point to a lot, like week 2, she made these bad moves. It backfired on her. It backfired because of America's influence, but her going for it made her popular. Her gusto gave her fans, and now she's one of the more popular people. So she really didn't lose week 2 either. So if you look at it from either direction, she's still doing a pretty decent job. But I think easily, if she is the person where if you remove America's influence, she was the one that was positioned to do the best.
All right. This next question is from Edmo again. Edmo says, name a song that Chrissy's band should cover to describe her HOH next week, or her HOH this week. Sorry. Brent, is there anything that comes to mind for you?
Brent doesn't listen to music.
I feel like all three.
There's that song that they always play at the Donald Trump rallies. Like, you can't always have what you want. You can't always have what, I don't know why they play that song at a Republican nominee rally, but whatever.
Because it's classic rock.
Right?
Classic rock reminds people of good times.
Yeah, make America great again. All right, so I think Chrissy, I think that's what Chrissy should play, because she's not going to get what she wants this week.
I just opened up my iTunes and I picked the first one that seemed right. The Wreck by Frightened Rabbit.
Okay, there you go. I don't know that song, but I can tell based on the title that it works.
Trying to look
Taran
cool.
listens to some obscure stuff.
Yeah,
man.
exactly. Like
Frightened Rabbit is not obscure.
I don't know who the hell that is.
I bet everyone that knows who Frightened Rabbit is, tweet at us with the hashtag that we come up with, because I know that they're a big popular band.
And if
Fool acts like Frightened Rabbit is Usher. All right.
And if you don't know what Frightened Rabbit is, also please tag us and let us know so we can prove that for one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Taran's just asking for the affirmative. He doesn't want the negative. Like if you don't know who the hell Frightened Rabbit is, please tweet me and I'll forward it all to Taran.
I have to put up a poll.
Yeah, I think Taran is trying to shed his basic label. I think he's trying to get rid of it. That's probably where that's coming from.
It was literally the first band in my iTunes.
Okay. And then next question is from @BBFan the homie. And BB Fan the homie. I mean that is such a great Twitter handle. I love it. BB Fan the homie. Like you're a BB fan and you're the homie. Anyway, BB Fan the homie says, has Jason improved since Big Brother 17? Has he missed opportunities? Is he doing too much or too little? Taran, what do you think?
I do think he's improved. I think that he is much more analytical, very much like Nicole's improvement, where he's coming in the second time and he's thinking things through a lot more than he was his first time around. He's trying to look at it from all the angles, and he's not always successful, and he's not without a fair amount of mistakes, but I do think he's playing a better game, and he's playing one of the better games in the house.
I agree. I also think Jason's done an admirable job this year trying to improve his game. I'm interested to see how he is at the end of this week, because he's one of those people like me that basically eats the same thing at the end of the night every night. And so like he always eats this like burrito thing or I don't know, quesadilla, whatever. And he is not going to be able to do that this week. In fact, by the way, just FYI, Big Brother, I feel like you, like if you have not, like I feel like you also shouldn't be able to smoke. but
wow.
But I'll withhold that for just a second, because he literally goes out there and lives on the cigarettes.
Brent, that is such a good idea. That's so
right.
cool.
I think like, if you have not, you should not be able to go out there and smoke. Anyway, so it's fine. Jason is a have-not.
Applying for this game.
Jason is a have-not this week, and he's going to have to put up with it for 5 more days. And he's already starting to break a little bit. So I'm interested to see how he is at the end of this. And the one good thing, as opposed to regular Big Brother, about this Big Brother is that even if you're a have-not, you know that there's a countdown to the end of the week when you're not going to be a have-not. Whereas in regular Big Brother, you could be have-not 4 weeks in a row.
Yeah, that's the worst part is that have-not competition. It's as much as it doesn't matter on the show to the people at home.
Really matters to you.
Yes, it matters so much. It matters more than the other comps. At least it did for me. I was like, screw that. The rest of that, I just want food.
Yeah, no, and it ends up making for great dramatic moments sometimes because it really matters to people in the house. I always remember Big Brother 15, where like Howard is, throwing it by, tossing rancid milk on Gina Marie and Aaron.
That was so great. That was the only moment where Howard was good. When he did that. I was like, wow, Howard's great. And then the rest of it, I was
Truly
like,
his
I know, right?
moment.
Rob always is saying like how he doesn't care about the food comps, and I love the food comps. Number one, because they're kind of silly, and I love popcorn television like that. But number two, it really matters to the people in the house, and that often has ramifications on the game as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, and also too, when you get like just the stupidest moments, like Keith in BB13, like when he was like, remember, wasn't that were they in cow costumes or something? I had to like milk the other people, and he was like, how he was doing it. If you haven't seen it, definitely look that up on YouTube. Okay, next question. This one is from Dave Franco. Dave Franco says, "Will Chrissy's obnoxiousness make her likely to reach the final 3 as a GOAT?" Alex, what do you think about that?
It's the best shot she got. So I mean,
right? Because I feel like that would be so, like, why not take Chrissy to the end? It's guaranteed, like auto win, like free. Well, not auto win, but free person that you don't have to beat.
Yeah, I mean, from the one live DR question that everyone was asked on Friday night was, does the knowledge of the final 3 that the game is going to go to a final 3 change your strategy at all? And for the vast majority of people, they're not thinking about it. But a couple people that have, give it some consideration are Alex and Scott. And those are 2 people I feel like would be absolutely targeting Chrissy soon, except now maybe they need to rework that. Maybe they can't work with Jason and Justin long term the way they might have wanted to. Maybe they have to switch up this strategy and keep around someone like Chrissy, who is, kind of a safety valve in the back pocket if you can hang on to her for long enough. So yeah, it does change some things, and it's definitely better for players like Chrissy because it makes her appealing in a way that she wouldn't have been before.
All right, let's take this next question. This one is from JD. JD says, if all 4 plastics stay this week, who is in the best position next week? Taran says Shelby. Brent, who do you say?
I think Morgan is probably in the safest position. I mean, she's going to have Alex totally protecting her, and it seems like everybody else really likes her on her side of the house, and everybody really likes her on the other side of the house. I don't know anyone that wants to get rid of Morgan at this point.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I would agree with that. I don't necessarily think it's Shelby. I do think Morgan is in the best position because she has her sister there. That's just not a general strategy that would apply to anyone.
And
obviously.
I would like to say also, because I get this, people tweet me all the time, like, people, do not hold it against the Willett sisters that they are smart enough to look different and fool the other house guests. I mean, the fact that these house guests are so utterly stupid to not, I just spit all over my microphone. They're so stupid to not realize that these 2 chicks are sisters. I mean, look at them when they walked in. I mean, like, and think about it from a logical perspective, Jason, you Big Brother historian, you. Do you really think that Big Brother is going to cast 2 people who basically look identical? Like, I mean, they would never, ever do that because the viewers can't tell them apart. Obviously, there's something going on here. Obviously, they're sisters. I can't believe the other house guests are so stupid that they cannot figure out that the Willett sisters are together in the house. But don't hold it against the Willett sisters. Like, people are saying, like, the Alex has an unfair advantage because her sister's playing in the house. You know what? It's incumbent upon the other house guests to get rid of her. And then they're I can't even say what I really want to say, but they're so stupid. They I don't know how they can't see that it's her sister in the house. So if the house guests can't see it, then c'est la vie.
Yeah, I mean, right. It looks like an unfair advantage right now because no one is, pressing the issue in the least. But if they were exposed at any point, all of a sudden they're both like totally in trouble, right? So it's not necessarily an advantage. It's an advantage to Alex and Morgan because they're doing it well enough to not get caught. But they haven't been perfect. I mean, there's been a couple slip-ups. There have been moments where if people were sharper, if people were quicker, they could have called them out. So
I'm sorry, you said if other people were sharper, I fell out of my chair.
Yeah, I mean, really, like, I don't think that it's like, it's certainly not like something that like the deck is stacked and these people have like such a massive thing to have to overcome. Like, just, if somebody calls them out one time the right way, like those girls are in trouble.
Right.
Like, that's
and
really
don't
all
you
it
think,
is.
I also think that Big Brother has to be absolutely stunned that this is working. Like, I mean, like they had Julia and Liz a couple seasons ago who were switching. They weren't even in the house at the same time, and people picked up on the fact that they were twins. And here you have two people who are blatantly in your face who look exactly like the same person on the memory wall, and you can't figure out that they're sisters. It
would
boggles
argue,
my mind.
I would argue, Brent, it is harder to do what the Nolan twins did. You know why? Because it's not so much like the looks, it's the conversations you have in there. You are in there 24/7. If someone says like, hey, remember when we talked about this yesterday? And you were just like blank and you're just like, you're in the headlights. That's not a good sign. Whereas at least the sisters can stay in 24/7.
I agree. I just think that people like Jason, who knows Big Brother and knows that Big Brother is likely to do something like this, like Jason's a fan of Big Brother. He knows that Big Brother Canada just had two brothers in the house at the same time playing as one person. How can he not even really entertain the idea that these are not sisters? Because he put it out there for a moment, and it's never come up again. And that's because of the Willett sisters. That's because Alex has made sure she's really, dumbed or not glammed herself up and is wearing her hair all ratty all the time and wearing her glasses. And Morgan has to, curl her hair every day and put on makeup. Does she want to do that? No. And am I a fanboy of the Willett sisters? No. But I hate it that people think that they have an unfair advantage. It's not their fault that the other house guests are idiots.
Yeah, and then keep in mind, like, even if you like you said, Jordan, even if what the Nolans had to do is much harder, if you believe that, I mean, they were busted a week too. Like Devon was the second person out, and she was onto him. So the Willett sisters have long since passed that point already. They've doubled it already. So it's not as easy as people maybe are implying.
Yeah, so I'm with you on that totally. It's
and I'm really hoping that. No, and I love you, BB Toombs, but no bullhorn comes over to the side of the house and exposes the sisters, because I think that's a bridge too far. I really do.
Yeah, that would suck for them.
I love you, BB Toombs.
Could you imagine?
I really do, but no. And then for those of you who don't know what we're talking about, BB Toombs is the guy who had the megaphone, who went past the CBS lot because the backyard is basically next to a street, and he went by with a megaphone and said that James and Nicole have a final two. Now, did they have a final two? No, but it put something interesting in the air. The other house guests were talking about. This is a little different, where it's like it's an actual fact that you would expose, and it would totally destroy their game. So,
Taran, if let's say hypothetically that happens and the house guests find out that the Willett sisters are sisters, how mad is Chrissy going to be?
I mean, it's just going to be the same Chrissy nonsense as everything else.
She's going to have but this
she'll be furious.
What will happen?
She will explode. Like, she will die if that happens. It'll be so good.
We will see her furiously flipping through the pages of the rule book. I don't see anywhere in here where it says you're allowed to have a sister in the game.
You people disgust me that you could be so conniving. It is unfathomable to me.
Taran, we had some people in the Rob is a Podcast patron Facebook group last week talk about what I should put on my wall behind me. I kind of want to get that picture of you doing the Chrissy is mad impression and then frame that and put it right here. I think that would be that is my favorite picture.
You just
I love
me
that
angrily
so
looking over your shoulder.
Yeah, because it's so funny. It's so good. That is almost as good as a Soldier Brent, almost. Man, that was great.
Yeah, someone tweeted a picture of Alex and a picture of me at our exact times that Chrissy won HOH, and Alex looks like he's seeing an oncoming car, and I'm like going, yes. So it's a great juxtaposition.
Oh yeah, it's awesome. I love that picture. So thank you to those of you who did screenshot that and send it to us. I think it's in the comments of that episode if you want to go on the website and find that. Let's jump to another question. This one I'm not sure about this. I mean, we talked about Danielle a little bit earlier. I've heard things about this, but I don't know 100% if this is legit or not. Terry Ratsack is asking, is it true that Danielle's daughter is from a former NFL player? Now, I know she shared a lot of info about her life and stuff. Did she mention this at all? And do you know where this rumor came from?
Son.
Son, sorry. Son.
Yeah, I have heard this. I don't know how confirmed it is. It's not something that I've like researched or anything, and I also don't know sports people, so that doesn't help either.
Yeah, maybe I should call an audible.
Right?
Alex
Yeah.
Kidwell.
She won't.
I did hear something about this. God, it was like someone and I just saw it, so I'm not going to say it's, factual because I saw that someone said it. I didn't see that it was a thing,
Okay.
but I do believe it was like someone with the Chiefs. I think that was what I saw.
I do recall seeing somebody, I don't remember who, but somebody credible say, "Oh, it's confirmed that this person is the father." So I do think it's somewhat credible. But go ahead.
All right, what I'm trying to get out is the fact that we're never going to see this person anyway. Like, if she gets HOH, she's made it clear that she has a son, but she's not going to get a picture of him because the father has not signed the release form. So that indicates to me that's more like cheese next to the mousetrap, that there may be something more than meets the eye here as far as who the father is, because he didn't want to sign the release form.
Steven Nelson, starting corner for the Chiefs, 23 years old.
Wow!
All right.
There you go. Nice work, Alex.
Thank you, Alex.
And this is allegedly.
I've got a future as an NFL scout, Jordan.
Oh yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
Yes.
Meanwhile, I was looking. Meanwhile, I was looking up the Frightened Rabbit Facebook page, which has almost 200,000 likes. Jordan, they're a big band.
Yeah, I looked them up too. They're Scottish. They're a Scottish indie band, according to Wikipedia.
Yeah, they're Scottish.
Okay, ludicrous.
Scottish, that's fine.
Ludicrous. They are not, Taran. They're not.
I didn't say they were ludicrous.
Well, you like said they weren't obscure, and come on, that's obscure.
They're not obscure. 200,000 likes on Facebook. That's pretty good for a Scottish band.
Touche.
How
We're
many
a bit off the beaten path.
We are off the beaten path. Let's and also too, just for the record.
Not that I'm one to go off the beaten path.
Of course, Brent, you never do that. You were so good at not doing that. I appreciate it. But just for the record, Scotland, I don't know, the population, I think it's a lot bigger than 200,000, Taran. So just saying. Anyway.
They're big in America.
Okay. Well, if they're big with you. This next question, I will throw it to you, Taran. You can start. How would you rank remaining house guests on their level of self-awareness as to how they're being perceived by America? Now, we don't have to go through everyone, but if you could just talk about maybe like the top 3 and the bottom 3, if you each could go through that, I think that would be a lovely exercise. So, Taran, maybe we'll start with you. Who is most self-aware in your opinion?
It's a difficult question. I think self-aware, I'm taking that to mean the more self-aware you are, the more unsure you should be about where you stand with America.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
So I think Alex is very self-aware. I think Jason is very self-aware, and who would be the third? I mean, I would say maybe Scott. I think he thinks he's less popular than he is.
Exactly.
I would say Justin just because he's so spot on, but I don't know how hard he's thinking about it.
Right.
Okay.
Who would be the third? What do you guys think?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if there really is anybody who is so. Maybe Shelby. I think she has a pretty good awareness of what we think of her and where her place is in the game. So
I think she's very aware of like our perception, but I don't think she's super aware of like necessarily the perception that other people have of her in the house sometimes, because like definitely when Jason blew up at her, she was like, where did that come from? That was out of nowhere. And it's like, actually he's been silently seething and resenting you for days now. That was coming. It's like we all knew it was coming. You were the only person who saw it as a blind side.
Yeah, she still thought they were friends.
Yeah.
So yeah, like I love Justin.
But I do like Shelby, and like I don't think she's that far out of the conversation. Yeah, who's the third? That's tough. But yeah, I definitely think Alex and Jason are the runaways too.
Okay, then Kidwell, throw it the other way. Throw it back to you. In terms of the least self-aware people, who would you say those people are? Chrissy, of course, and who else?
Yeah, Chrissy.
Oh, sure, make it hard.
I think you. Yeah.
Took the easy one.
I think maybe you have to say Neely, just in the sense that I don't think she knows what the bulk of viewers are looking for from people. I think she thinks that like if I'm loyal and nice to everybody, that's all I need to do here. And unfortunately, I don't think that's going to be enough in this game. Not fair, but it is what it is.
And I have to say,
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead. Sorry, no, I don't want to change the conversation. Go. I'll bring it up later.
And then
go ahead.
I was just gonna say maybe the last person. would be Scott for me, just because, you know, it's close, but Scott is someone who's like actively trying to protect people that are burying him right now. So I guess maybe.
Couldn't it be argued? Couldn't it be argued that Jason is a little maybe not self-aware, Taran, because of how recent events have been unfolding?
I think he's always been somebody that's been like, guys, don't get too cocky. This could make us unpopular. Now that he's unpopular, he's like, all right, well, why am I unpopular? He's thinking about it a lot more than other people, which I think
things are going bad about it. But he's the first that's aware. This is not a good look for us. He's always on that.
Okay. I do think we're missing Danielle from the bottom three, who, even though she was given a very clear signal. She was given a very clear signal. She still doesn't understand why, and she's still like, how can I be nominated over those fake, terrible people on the other side? They're just the worst. Like, she still doesn't get it.
Poor Danny. She seems like she is deep down is a nice girl. She just the house for whatever reasons just kind of made her a little loopy. So anyway, Taran, or sorry, Brent.
I've forgotten what I was going to say. I'm trying to remember. Keep
going.
Well, keep going. Couldn't have been that important.
Danielle has been better this week, and we kind of touched on this on the Friday show, but she has been a bit more low key throughout the week. So I do think she has some positive momentum going for her moving forward.
Go ahead, Brent.
And this is my weekly, bag on Taran and Alex for their perceptions of BBOTT. But I would just like to point out that, people like Neely, who are loyal and nice, but not necessarily good feeds and not very good at entertaining television, she would probably go far in a regular Big Brother game. But on BBOTT, girl, that ain't enough. So, I mean, that just is another feather in my cap. That's like, I really love BBOTT, and I'm gonna kind of miss it when it goes away.
Yeah, although I hate
how even if positioning this as an opposite opinion from us.
Right. Like, I agree with that, but I just think. I think even if she's not charismatic, she can do what, there are a couple people in here who are not good charisma or feeds per se, but you see them constantly working and strategizing and trying to think about the game. And I think there's a subset of fans that respond to that. I'm one of them, I'm inclined to like that person, even if they're not super entertaining. So that's you have to go one of the two ways. You have to be strategically captivating or socially captivating. And unfortunately, Neely's not doing enough of either at this point. When you look around, there's no more Monties and cornbreads to pile onto. That really is her problem.
And it should be noted that Neely doesn't get put in this situation if both Danielle and Chrissy are ineligible in front of her. She's kind of being put in a spot where she wouldn't have gone out this early if not for this unique circumstance.
It's so funny. We're already talking about her in past tense, but there's a good chance she comes down. If anybody on her side wins the veto, she's coming down, and one of the ball crushers is definitely going home. So there's a huge, even if Neely goes up as a nominee, there's a huge chance that she might be saved.
All right, we've got a breaking news are happening now. This is from Alan at AO Prayer on Twitter. Alan says, can confirm Scotland is a big country. So there you go.
5.2 million people, I would say.
Yeah. Oh, God. Now all of Scotland is going to come for me. I didn't mean to say that.
Alex is just the worst. He has the worst opinions.
Just from a purely pop culture standpoint, the Scottish influence has been minimized throughout time. It's not fair. I don't condone it.
Oh, Alex hates the Scottish.
Oh my!
Probably loved Brexit.
All right, now I have to come on Tuesday wearing the Braveheart paint. That's fine. I'll do it.
Next question.
Oh man, Alex Kidwell, I love you, man. Okay, Taran, I brought it up earlier, or you said at the beginning of the show, you teased it. What was that heart-shaped thing that people were talking about? Did someone bake something that was heart-shaped? Chrissy got mad. What was that?
Chrissy was upset at Alex because Alex made, what was it, a sandwich or something that she cut out into a heart. And she was just like, this person, she doesn't know how to cook. She's such a useless person. And she's wasting food by making it heart-shaped. And then Big Brother gave Alex the task to bake heart-shaped cookies for Chrissy.
Yeah, see all the people complaining that this is terrible. We shouldn't give the safety package to Alex because we don't want her safe. They wanted to give it to Shelby because they wanted good feeds. I'm like, oh my God. Alex as Chrissy's servant is the best. Like, I love it because the person who's more irritated than anything is Chrissy. Number one, because she can't touch her, and number two, because Alex constantly has to get in her face and like say nice things, and she's not being like honest about it. She's like, "Oh, don't you look beautiful today?" And she uses her feather duster to like feather dust her face, and like it's great. I love watching Alex interact with Chrissy, and Chrissy's always saying in her diary rooms that how the one person she doesn't get along with is Alex because Alex won't make eye contact with her. So this is why she thinks that America did this because she wants that America wants Alex and her to work together. So whatever.
All right, let's take a couple more questions before
she's the waitress, America. She gets it. That's what she's I get it. I'm a waitress, so I get it.
I'm a waitress. It's so funny that you wanted to have her wait on me because I'm a waitress. I get it. I see what you guys are doing. It's all about that.
I've worked tables before too, but I never would have made that connection.
All right. All right. Let's take a couple more questions before we wind things down. This one is from Cassie. Cassie says, Justin has said he wants Neely out. Would he really vote to evict her if she's on the block Wednesday? And would that be a smart move? Brent?
I mean, boy, it's close. I mean, the thing is, if he does that, then he does ingratiate himself with the other side of the house. And it does save another boy. And I do think that Scott, at least for the time being, would like to work with Justin and Jason. So I think that it has a lot of upside, but it also has a little bit of downside. On the other hand, Chrissy, if you vote out Neely's gone. Chrissy can't be HOH next week. And the only person you really need to worry about is Danny coming after you. But would Danny really come after you? You could just say you made a mistake. You're sorry. Boo-hoo. She hates those other girls so much. She would probably still go after them. So, but the one thing it does that that would be a downside is it would blur the lines. It would finally break the this side against that side thing. I think that things would be a little bit more fluid, and Justin's in a very secure spot right now, so maybe he doesn't want to upset the apple cart too much.
But Alex, you don't think, you and Taran were talking on Friday, you guys aren't totally against the two sides crumbling, right?
Oh, they love that. I'm just saying from Justin's point of view.
Yes, of course.
What do you think about this?
Touched on it earlier. I mean, the war of attrition, as interesting as it can be, doesn't leave a lot of room for strategic maneuvering simply because everyone is so polarized, and that if anyone tries to broker any kind of conversation, everyone's back in the one bedroom where they all congregate whispering about how the one person isn't here right now. You know what I mean? It becomes very tough for anyone to play the game.
Alex, do you think that Justin, if he can get Jason to go along with it, should vote out Neely?
Oh man, yeah, it's hard to say.
Because Neely's really on their side, but that may not last though.
Right. I mean, and Scott is definitely willing to work with those guys, but I think it ends up just being too problematic.
I think the problem is that the problem is that the girls are too tight, and Alex is in control of Scott, and so I don't think Justin can get into that group. So there's not really anywhere for him to go, and so he kind of needs Chrissy or needs Neely. At the very least, he can't have obviously betrayed her.
Which is why it would be better for those guys if Chrissy would just put up Morgan and Whitney. Or two girls.
Yeah, I guess. Right.
Yeah, I agree. She shouldn't be trying to get out Scott. She was the one saying last week that Scott got revenge on Shane because of personal feelings, and I do feel like this is a personal vendetta that Chrissy has against Scott here because she, it's clearly not the correct move to take out Scott. The four girls are so tight. Jason's even pointed out to Chrissy, he's like they move in like a school of fish, there was this praying mantis in the house, and they all walk outside, and the four girls all together go outside to see the praying mantis. So Jason's like, you can't talk to one of them. All four of them will be there at the same time. We have to get rid of one of them. And yet here we are, right after Chrissy's blow up, she wants to get rid of Scott. And Jason's like, well, I'd really like to get rid of one of the girls, but let's just let Chrissy do whatever she wants. Chrissy has really stifled whatever strategic input her side of the house was willing to give her by that blow up. I don't think she realized how much that really hurt her cause here.
All right. Let's take a couple more. I said that last time. I lied. I found another one. So we'll do this one and then one more. This one's from Catherine Gonzalez. Catherine says, is Scott to the plastics as Danielle is to the misfits? Taran?
Sure. I like in a simplified sense for sure. I mean, he's the expendable one. None of them really like him all that much, but they use him because he's a target and a number. And I mean, that's it.
All right. Yeah, you guys in agreement on that? Yeah.
Scott,
All right.
Scott is to the
I guess-
plastics like who is to the misfits?
Like Danielle. He's the
Oh yeah. Sorry.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I guess
can-
like
yeah.
the only difference would be that Scott is like infinitely more loyal than Danielle.
Right, and Danielle is not so loyal to Jason and Justin at this point.
But in the loosest comparative sense.
Right.
Yes.
Yes. Okay. And then last question. This one's from Cindy Wigglesworth. Cindy says, "What is the LFC's end game? Who do they want to see get to the final three?" So,
I've said for a long time that I want any combination of Alex, Scott, Jason, and Justin to end up in the final three. I think we'd have a really, really fun final three vote. In fact, maybe even Alex, Scott, and Jason. I feel like that would be maybe the closest final three vote. If Justin's there, I think he probably runs away with it. So, I don't know. What do you guys think?
man, I can co-sign that, Brent. I think that would be an interesting final.
Shelby's
final
won me
three.
over though too. I
Shelby
keep
will be
forgetting about her.
good. Yeah. I honestly though, here's what I want. Now that she's gone on this warpath, and now that she's won HOH, I want Chrissy to go all the way to the end.
Oh, hush! You're an evil
honestly,
man.
Honestly, I think I'd be happy with most outcomes. I think like I wouldn't love having to, sit there throughout a Chrissy win, a Danielle win, maybe a Morgan win. And then now that she's, come out this weekend and said that her least favorite house guests of all time are Andy and Amanda, I wouldn't be thrilled with a Whitney win either.
Wow, Whitney said that?
I fell off the Whitney bandwagon after she said that Big Brother 15 was the most boring cast of all time, which you can call them a lot of things, but boring.
Not boring.
No. And then Amanda and Ando were like the most hated of all time. And then
she would have been better off. Like if she had just said like, I don't know, I never watched Big Brother 15. Like that would have been fine with me. But here she has to go and bag on him. I'm like,
that's
not a good
sensitive
look.
spot for me. Yeah, I like some of those people. And then and Scott had to educate her about the demon that was Big Brother 9, Josh.
Right? He hates
you don't
him.
know. You don't know.
Oh man, we should ask if well actually I don't want to say this person's name because I don't want to spoil I don't want them to not show up and have people disappointed on Tuesday, but there might be somebody who comes on Tuesday that knows Josh or had some interactions with Josh, so stay tuned for that. Taran, go ahead.
I was gonna say I mostly want to see Jason in the final three just because Jason's my boy. But beyond that, I'm not sure. I still want to see more of the game being played. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Justin. I love that he's like really excited about playing the game and being devious. Obviously, I think Alex plays well. But I think honestly it could change by the time the final three comes around. I think that there's a lot of game left to be played. So Jason's the only lock that I think I have.
All right. So I think that's going to do it for this edition of the RHAPpy Hour, guys. Let's just go quickly around the horn, get your guys' final thoughts on the episode. While the LFC and I are shutting things down, if you guys in the chat could brainstorm some hashtags, that would be great. I actually have one today, but I want to see if there's a better one. So Alex, I'll give you the floor, man. Final thoughts.
Big Brother 15 wasn't boring, but this weekend on BBOTT was.
All right, there we go. Nice and short and sweet. I like it. Taran, final thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I'm waiting for the sides to break down. I feel like that will create a more dynamic viewing experience. So I'm looking forward to that. I hope I just want to speed the game up a little.
Okay. Brent, I see you've got who are you texting there, Brent? Who are you texting?
My partner. Why you gotta bring that up?
Oh, I just want to see if things are okay. I just want to make sure.
Yes, my partner's flight has been rerouted from Korea to Tokyo. He's currently like flying across the globe right now. So
Okay, so is he okay?
yeah, he'll be home tomorrow. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
He'll be home tomorrow, and you'll be leaving tomorrow for New York City.
Right? Crazy, huh? How that works out. Yeah.
Right?
No, I think it's been a very fun season so far. I'm not at all disappointed with the Chrissy HOH win because her fall is going to be really, really good to watch, especially like 100%. She's going to be have not next week. I don't know if she'll be nominated by America because they might take that away from us and do it themselves. But she's definitely going to be a have not. So that's a coming.
All right. Let's just take a look at the hashtags here. The one I have is hashtag basic biscuit.
That's what I was going to say earlier.
Yeah.
Yeah, some people
Yeah.
like that. I thought
Yeah.
it was pretty good.
Yeah, we had someone in the chat post that earlier, so thank you to
I like
whoever did that.
the alliteration.
Yeah, and then we had
Big fan.
Well,
Everyone
you
knows.
like that it's about you.
Well, yeah, but
Shade!
an alliteration that's also about me. I mean,
Yeah.
perfect,
Fantastic.
exactly right.
Whammy.
And we also have hashtag something Scotland from Edward Morris. So
Alex hates Scotland.
Let's get off of that. Let's not. Yeah.
Hashtag Alex hates
No, no, no,
Scotland.
no, no, no.
Put it in there, even if Jordan doesn't choose it.
Let's
Okay.
get away from it.
well, if you want to choose, you include that. You're more than welcome to. It's not the official
Also,
hashtag.
show
of the
Frightened
podcast.
Rabbit some love.
You're not welcome to. You're not. You're not.
Okay. Well, thank you guys so much for tuning into this edition of the Happy Hour. Again, we're going to be live on Tuesday doing the Big Brother OTT live show on Rob as a podcast. So that should be lots of fun. Eric Stein, Gina Marie, Adam Pock, Glenn Garcia will all be there with us. So that'll be a fun night. Again, tickets are still available. robhasawebsite.com/BBOTT live. In terms of Wednesday, the four of us are still going to be in New York. So there is an eviction that night. But we are we are not going to be around while the eviction happens because we're going to be at the live Survivor Know-It-Alls that Rob is doing. So we are either going to record a podcast during the day beforehand to kind of preview and just quickly talk about who's going to potentially go home, that kind of stuff, or we're going
4 a.m. Periscope.
or 4 a.m. Periscope, and we're going to do it at 4 in the morning. I personally would rather do it during the day because who knows what condition Alex Kidwell and I will be in at that point.
Oh no, that would be glorious.
The
though.
best of
I
conditions.
feel like we have to
obviously.
do that. Like,
Okay, well, we will. The four of
and
us.
so
will
if we do
discuss.
Periscope, what's your Periscope? Just to be clear.
So you can find my Periscope by following me on Twitter. I'm at Jordan Parhar.
Okay.
Another thing too, I mean, I'm going to be Snapchatting a lot of this whole trip. So if you want to see some behind the scenes stuff, if you want to follow me on Snapchat or check out my Instagram stories. I think I'm going to try the Instagram stories this week for the first time. It's just Jordan Parhar and everything. So
yes, and if you want to follow me on Snapchat, it's just like my Twitter, one lucky gay, one spelled out, and come follow me.
Okay, and then Taran and Alex, your guys' Snapchat for people if they want to follow you.
Yeah, I was stupid. I didn't. I went with Kidwell87 because I wasn't smart.
Okay, so Kidwell87 for Alex on Snap, and Taran, do you want to share your Snapchat or no? Do you want to keep that private?
I think it's Armstrong Taran. It might be Taran Armstrong.
He doesn't Snapchat.
But
He'll be on
what
my
you should do-
Snapchat.
What you should do, we are going to try to potentially stream a game of Mario Party live in New York on Twitch. So if you want, I'm not totally like finished on all the details yet, but if you want to keep apprised of that, that's not the right word.
Sound like me.
Yeah,
I don't know what that was. You know, the rope of this, your circuits are getting shorted, Taran.
if you want to keep yourself updated on that situation, you can follow me on Twitter at Armstrong Taran. I will tweet out the Twitch stream that you can watch if you are interested in watching a bunch of crazy idiots play Mario Party at like 2 in the morning. So
if this happens, it's going to be amazing. So please, check that out on Taran's Twitter. He's at Armstrong Taran. I'm sure we'll all be retweeting it. Brent mentioned he's at One Lucky Gay on Twitter. Alex is at Alex Kidwell, and I am at Jordan Parhar. So definitely stay tuned for that and any Periscopes and other random stuff that happens this week. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're all together. Lots of shenanigans happen when you get the whole LFC together. And you know, it's funny. The last time we were all together, the LFC name had not been coined yet. So there you go. You guys have an official name now. We're all going to be hanging out. Maybe we should get T-shirts. That would be cool. Or maybe we could get like someone can make bootleg T-shirts. Like I don't know if someone could make like just a rip-off LFC T-shirt. Or we should just get isn't it Liverpool? Alex, the football club.
Yeah, LFC is the Liverpool Football Club.
Yeah. So why don't we
Get
we
jerseys.
just get Liverpool jerseys? I think that would be kind of like a fun little thing. So
Antonio Mazzaro is a big Liverpool fan. I'm sure he can tell us where to go.
okay, and he'll tell us who's good. So we can do that. So anyway, guys, thank you so much for tuning into this edition of the Happy Hour. Always appreciate you guys checking the show out, and we will be back with you on Tuesday and again with you on Wednesday. For Alex Kidwell, Brent Wolgamott, and Taran Armstrong, I'm Jordan Parhar. #BasicBiscuit. We'll talk to you soon. Take care. Peace out.